It feels like love, but it might be harming your cat. Some treats do more damage than you'd ever guess. Let me spin you a yarn. Before we dive into the meat and potatoes of this video, which is probably a bad choice of words, we should explore why we wanted to make this one at all. You see, the inspiration of this video began with a yarn I found online. And no, I don't mean the sort of yarn that your cat plays with. I mean a story, specifically something someone had posted on Reddit. Don't worry, not the problematic corners of Reddit where the conspiracy theories about clouds are. One of the nice corners of Reddit where folks share advice about cat care. I've tweaked some details to protect the anonymity of the poster, but all the important info remains as it was. The poster, who for the sake of adding some much-needed levity into a serious topic, I'm going to call Barnaby Biscuits, said that they were at the vet with their cat, Captain Sniffadoo. No, not the real name, but I'm protecting the anonymity of the human, so you can damn well be sure I'll do the same for the cat. Captain Sniffadoo was having his usual checkup, tail flicking, being his usual charming self. But then the vet said something that made Barnaby Biscuit's stomach drop. The vet casually said, "By the way, you really should be cutting down the triple treats." Obviously, that was a shock. Triple Treats is a hugely respected and popular brand. Also, just to be clear, I'm using a fake brand name to protect us legally. Barnaby Biscuits, fake name, was baffled and frustrated. Captain Sniffadoo, also fake name, loved Triple Treats, another fake name, and thought they were totally fine and healthy, given you can buy them in literally any shop. But the vet, Dr. Floppy Scoopy Doopy, that's a real name, revealed that the Triple Treats, fake name, are loaded with things that aren't the best for cats. Imagine that. Cat food that is full of ingredients that are bad for cats. What a twist. That was something of a wake-up call. A realization that not all cat food is good food. That some of it is basically junk. The cat equivalent to us always eating something like, and I'll use a fake brand name again just in case, McKing FC. Sneaky foods that can harm your cat. Now that you know, just like Barnaby Biscuits, that feeding your cat certain cat food and treats, like feeding your poor baby dangerous junk, you might be keen on learning what you can do to ensure you don't get a similar warning from your vet. Let's start with some sneaky human foods you might not know are dangerous for your cat. You're probably thinking, what's the big deal with a little leftover chicken broth or a nibble of cheese? Well, there are a few human things your cat will have a problem with. Firstly, your cat is like a vampire because they respond badly to garlic. Secondly, your cat is like my Uncle Ben because they respond badly to onions. These are two of the worst offenders, mainly because there are sneaky ingredients in these that wriggle their way into more meals than you might realize. Sort of like how Pedro Pascal wriggles his way into every movie franchise ever. Your cat is allowed to eat Pedro though, so that's some good news. Who wouldn't want to share a little bit of that delicious homemade chicken broth with their cat? Look at how cute they are. They deserve it. The problem is some garlic or onions or both might be in there. And even just a small amount of onion or garlic, whether it's in the broth, soup, or seasoning, can cause serious health problems for your little buddy. They contain compounds that can damage your cat's red blood cells, leading to a rather dangerous condition called hemolytic anemia. Another big offender, and this was one of a shocker to me, I must admit, is cheese. Surely it should be fine, right? Cats drink milk. Cheese is just milk you can chew. Just a small cube of cheese or a bite of your pizza crust may seem harmless, but many cats are actually lactose intolerant. That means your cat's tummy won't handle it well, and they could end up with an upset stomach, or worse, diarrhea. It's just not worth it, which leads us rather perfectly into one of the biggest misconceptions of all: raw milk. You know when I said cats drink milk about 4 seconds ago? Well, they probably shouldn't. Not the raw stuff we drink anyway. A lot of people think that giving their cats milk is a cute gesture, but in reality, it can lead to pretty big digestive issues. Most adult cats are lactose intolerant, meaning their bodies can't properly break down the lactose in milk. If you want to treat your cat with milk, you need to feed them special cat milk. It's not just milk they can't have, but also something some people add milk to. Caffeine, coffee, tea, and soda all contain caffeine, which can cause rapid breathing, heart palpitations, and even seizures in cats. It's a hidden danger that many people overlook, thinking letting your cat have a small sip of your tea won't hurt, but it absolutely can. But there's even more. The final human food you shouldn't give them is raisins, or raisins with water weight, aka grapes. I know it might sound bizarre, but these seemingly innocent fruits are actually toxic to cats. Even a small amount can cause, and I'm not exaggerating, kidney failure. So if you ever find your cat sneaking a raisin or grape from the counter, don't ignore it. Get them to the vet right away. Though if they can't eat grapes, that does raise the question of, can they drink wine? And yes, I will address that, but I'm going to make you wait a bit because I'm awful. Dangerous ingredients in cat treats. All that might make you think, fine, I'll only feed them cat food then. But as the story of Barnaby Biscuits revealed, even specific cat food can be problematic. And I don't mean problematic like a comedian who wrote an offensive tweet. I mean problematic like a vial of poison. Not all cat treats are created equal. Some might look cute and tasty, but the ingredients inside? Not so much. The key thing is to read packaging and keep an eye out for bad ingredients. One ingredient in particular to watch out for is artificial colors. These are commonly added to treats to make them look more appealing, but they're not necessarily good for your cat's health. In fact, some artificial food dyes can trigger allergic reactions or contribute to behavioral issues in pets. If you have kids, you'll probably already be avoiding this stuff when it comes to their diet, so you'll be well used to being careful on this front. But there is also the issue of carbs. Many commercial cat treats are high in carbohydrates, while cats are obligated carnivores and their diet should be meat-based. Too many carbs can lead to obesity, diabetes, and other health problems. Treats should never make up the majority of your cat's diet for this reason. Remember the Atkins diet from back in the day? That would actually suit cats. They need more meat than carbs. Having said that, meat can be an issue as well. Will the troubles never end? If the treat lists meat by product without specifically the source of the meat, it's a major warning sign. You don't know what you're actually feeding your cat, and these can sometimes include parts of the animal that probably shouldn't be consumed. Foods you might think are fine but aren't. There are a few other foods I want to touch upon that might seem kind of obvious, but you just can't be too sure. Cats can't eat grapes, but they also can't drink what grapes become. Wine, or any alcohol for that matter. Didn't I tell you I'd mention it eventually? That might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people think a little sip of wine or beer won't hurt. Well, it does. Alcohol can cause vomiting, diarrhea, and in worst-case scenarios, lead to a coma. Another worth mentioning is something you might not have heard of. Xylitol. Nope, it's not a Star Trek creature. Xylitol is the artificial sweetener found in sugar-free gum and other foods, and is another hidden danger for your poor cat. Even a small amount can cause insulin release, which can lead to low blood sugar, seizures, and liver failure. If you're snacking on sugar-free gum or other xylitol-containing foods, make sure to keep them far out of reach of your fluffy buddy. Though there's another more natural and common ingredient that can also cause issues: salt. While your cat may not crave salt like humans do, high sodium intake can lead to dehydration, kidney problems, and even salt poisoning in severe cases. This is particularly true for things like chips, pretzels, or anything that's been overly salted. Thankfully, they won't be drawn to salt like they will be to cheese, so the chances they'll overdose on salt are slim. But still, it is something to be mindful of. If you think cat food ingredients are confusing, wait till you find out what your cat does while you're asleep. Seriously, watch this next.